So, what was it? Yesterday or day before yesterday, I did a video on the concerning the Helsinki agreement and read it from Debco Weekly. And now I will go ahead and read a new article from Debco Weekly, and it says, with breakdown, not Debco Weekly, this is on the regular Debco file. With breakdown of Russian-Israeli understandings for South Syria, Israel will strike Iranian targets. July 22nd, 2018. The U.S.-Russian-Israel formula for South Syria, composed in painstaking discussions for weeks, is not working. Surprise, surprise, I say. This became clear in phone conversations on Friday, July 20th, between Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Vladimir Putin and their defense ministers. The understandings they had apparently reached were proving inoperable, including Russia's guarantees for the non-presence of Iranian militias and Hezbollah near Israel's Golan border. The breakdown stemmed from an abrupt Russian U-turn. Russian diplomats were suddenly claiming that Moscow never agreed to have Iranian proxies and Hezbollah pushed back from the Israeli border or out of Syria at large. According to Debco File's military sources, Netanyahu and Lieberman responded to this discovery by declaring that Israel would now feel free to wipe out any positions or bases those pro-Iranian and Hezbollah forces fighting with Syrian army units may set up in Daraa and Quneitra. Strikes would also include or continue as before against those targets in other parts of Syria. Only two understandings survived the Russian-Israeli leaders' phone calls on Friday. Number one, the Russia-IDF military coordination mechanism in Syria would continue to function to avert clashes. Number two, the Russian military would not interfere with Israel military operations in Syria. Moscow's abrupt reversion to the status quo ante effectively erased President Donald Trump's disclosure in Helsinki just 4 days earlier of a collaborative effort agreed between the U.S., Russia, and Israel at his summit with the Russian leader. He told reporters, President Putin is also helping Israel. We both spoke to Bibi Netanyahu. They would like to do certain things with respect to Syria having to do with the safety, that word safety again, of Israel. In that respect, we absolutely would like to work in order to help Israel. Israel will be working with us, so both countries would work jointly. Netanyahu discovered that when he talked to Putin on Friday that the Russian leader has no interest in working together for the safety of Israel. Just like that. They said, I'll finish this up and then I'm going to give my opinion here. Certainly not in a way it is understood in Washington and Jerusalem. Their relation on the personal level will likely remain, but security ties at a strategic level will be wound back to their low point of a year ago. In June 16th, President Donald Trump and President Vladimir Putin were talking peace and safety. Peace and safety. How many times did I read it on Debco Weekly? I said count them. I should have counted it myself and pointed it out. was at least 8 or 10 times. And 4 days later, 4 days later, it's all BS. It's all nonsense. Of course. In all truth and honesty, this is all about the oil that's in the Golan Heights that I talked about this morning. We all know what's going on. It's just a matter of time. And with now Russia refusing to push Iran out of Syria, and with the chokehold being put on Iran, with the oil sanctions being imposed on November the 4th, it's kind of hard to ignore the obvious, isn't it? Well, we shall see what happens.